those believers that are being tried and tested in such horrible ways, this may be their path to Jannah. And there are reasons Allah describes that we go through such disasters for ourselves. لِيَمِيزَ الْخَبِيثَ مِنَ الطَّيِّبِ وَمَا كَانَ اللَّهُ لِيَذَرَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ عَلَى مَا أَنْتُمْ عَلَيْهِ حَتَّى يَمِيزَ الْخَبِيثَ مِنَ الطَّيِّبِ. Allah will not leave you like you are until He separates those that are good from those that are filthy. He wants to test how long, how much. Sometimes every safety will be taken away from you so you can truly recognize the only safety lies with Allah. Nothing will happen to anyone. No one will die sooner than they're supposed to die. No one will be tortured because Allah didn't want that to happen. No one will suffer any calamity without Allah's permission. And every one of those trials that you and I go through, that those that we love as our ummah are going through, every one of those trials, Allah is watching. Maybe Allah is using that trial to wake the entire ummah up. How long before, these shakings that Allah sends us, before we wake up and say, Ala inna nasrallahi qareeb, Allah's help is near. And that we have to turn back, we have to be qualified for Allah. When I say we have to make dua for the ummah, and I want to end with this, really. Of course we have to make dua for the ummah and those that are suffering. Those that are suffering in our own families. Those that are suffering that we share La ilaha illallah with. This bond of La ilaha illallah, what makes me and you Muslim. This is a stronger tie than blood. This is stronger than blood. It's not just some people that you hear, it's not just some news feed. This is our ummah. This is someone you have to have love for. You and I have to have love for it. And the best thing you can do for them is dua. But fine, let's take one last step. I agree, the best thing we can do for them right now, at the very least you can do dua for them. If you can't support in some way, you support in some way. You stand up, you want to, contest what's going on, fine. But dua is only effective when it's acceptable to Allah. Before you and I say, make dua brother, let's make dua together. Well, are you qualified for dua? Have we left haram? Have we left questionable things that make our duas, worthless before Allah? So before you and I, if we really care about the chaos that's happening, and we really care to make dua, then let's care about our dua itself. Let's make the dua right. Because it's not just empty words. It's not just emotional prayers that are felt from the heart. There's conditions that have to be met. Allah says, فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي. He says, وَجِيبُوا دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي. I will respond to the call whenever they call me. I'll respond to the dua whenever they make dua. He says, then they should respond to me. That's the same ayah. فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي. Then they should respond to me. They should at least try to respond to me. Allah is asking you to leave certain things. Allah is asking you to do certain things in your life. None of you here don't know that. I know that and you know that. It's not complicated. Everybody here knows what we're supposed to do and we're not supposed to do. And we're still doing all that stuff. And we have the audacity to ask, how come Allah doesn't answer my du'as? How come the ummah's du'as are not being answered? I mean, we're not even making our part of the deal. We don't get to be hypocritical and say we care about the plight of the ummah if we're not changing ourselves. This is what Allah means when He says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُوا مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ. There's no doubt about it. Allah will not be one to change what is happening to a nation until they change what is happening inside of themselves. He will not change the tragedy of the ummah, the catastrophe of the ummah. He will not lift us from it. Doesn't matter where it's happening in the world, we will not lift from it until something deep changes inside of ourselves. Until we turn back to Allah. You and I have to take personal responsibility for our share in our du'as becoming empty.